Hey there, it's me again. I'm sitting in my car currently waiting for my son, and I started thinking about addictions. I was going to talk a little bit about alcohol and cannabis and other substances, but I decided to just make it a general discussion about really, are we all addicts? I mean, really. Let's ask this question brutally honest. When I was younger, I remember that a lot of folks categorized people into addicts or addictive personalities. And really all that meant is that if you were introduced to something that you enjoyed, you would continue to use it. But I think the word addiction has lost its meaning, and it's to define it properly. The textbook definition of the term addiction really means that you continue to consume, or it could be behavior related, it's not necessarily consumption. You consume or continue to do something in spite of the fact that you know it's causing you real world harm or damage to your life or your lifestyle. So for example, if a person drinks every weekend, it doesn't make them an alcohol addict, it doesn't make them an alcoholic. But even if a person drinks every day, it doesn't make them an alcoholic either. If a person has one beer, a light beer every evening, we know that that's, actually many people say that one alcoholic drink, a glass of wine or something, could be beneficial. Very few people can do this. For the most part, people want to have another one and another one. And I think we should separate first addiction from habit or from ritual, okay? So if you're the kind of person who smokes a bowl every evening when you get home to relax, that's fine. If you're the kind of person who smokes blunts all day at work and you can't function and do your job, that's an addiction. It's holding you back. If you consume something that makes you unable to function as an adult or a parent or a worker, it can actually be defined as an addiction. So let's back up for a minute and totally remove drugs from the equation. And think about this little device right now that I'm recording on, my smartphone. Guess it's not that smart these days. It's an old Galaxy S7, but it does the job. When I'm holding this phone in my hand, I have the power. I am He-Man, master of the universe. I can access my Google account. I can access my Facebook, or my YouTube. Sorry, I don't have a Facebook. Used to have a Facebook. I can scroll through all the different discussions people are having. I can find information at my fingertips. Today I wanted to know a time zone, so I looked it up. These things are so accessible. So, since we do so much in our lives, it's only natural we'd be using our phones all the time. But the question I have here is, are we addicted to our phones? Is it an actual addiction? Because we hear a lot of talk about dopamine. I think that word is really overused. Dopamine isn't just something that makes you feel good or just for motivation. It can actually be released to motivate you not to do things as well. So it has different uses by the body. Forget all the neurochemistry and just look at the basics. How many people do you see consistently always looking at their phones or a computer screen? And I'm willing to guess it's most people. And sure, there are a small exception. Honestly, there's also the excuses. The fact that, I'm looking up something important. Or, hey, what I'm looking at matters, because it's this, or I'm educating myself. That's difficult because in the past, when people were looking at a book, people wouldn't think you're wasting your time, would they? Well, actually, they did. In fact, back in the early 20th century, there was a lot of worry that newspapers magazines, of these new magazines that were coming out, were going to actually suck away the family life and destroy people and their ability to communicate because people were sitting around in a room. And there was an article where everyone was sitting around looking in their own magazines and how that was going to be so harmful to the family. You move on into the 30s and the 40s and radio becomes more popular, and all of a sudden everybody has a radio set and people have the same fears that radio is going to destroy our communication because all the kids are sitting around the radio. And then we look at what happened with television. And yes, okay, fine, they were right. Television totally destroyed a couple generations. But at the same time, today you see people wanting to move away from that. In fact, my generation had the "kill your television," motto, and that was our. We were sick of it. We were sick of all the commercialization and the TV crap. But then the internet came, and it was so tempting, so damn tempting. We couldn't resist. We couldn't stop ourselves. And that's understandable. And so what I'm getting at is that this addiction too will pass. I know that things are going fast, very fast paced. I personally am way behind on the times as far as technology. My boss actually just bought an Oculus and brought it to work yesterday. He's like, "Oh, we'll try this after work." And I didn't know what to expect. I hadn't used one yet, but it blew my mind. It was more than I can imagine. I see the potential in this land that you can put on your face and pretend like you're in. It's really the same as the phone. It's the same thing. It's just all encompassing. And I think that the point here is that even though that's so tempting and such an awesome thing for people, everything eventually loses its novelty. It doesn't matter how great it is. The best video game in the world, the best music in the world, the best movies. Fortunately, everything loses its novelty, and it's very rare that something we can continue doing, watching, consuming for the rest of our life without looking back and saying, "Oh man, I need to just get away from this for a while." And I think that that's our human, our intuition telling us, step the fuck away sometimes. So that brings me to, back to addictions, which I have, self-analyzing, I have plenty of addictions, but also plenty of habits, and it's hard to distinguish between them. I just do my best like we all do. Thanks for listening. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Be sure to hit the like button for what it's worth. Be well, my friends.